Alright, welcome back, class. This is Unit 7, Lesson 6, Solving Equations with Reciprocals. And this is going to stem directly off what we learned in our last lesson, which was solving one-step equations. So at the beginning here, it looks really familiar to what we've been doing, where we're trying to find out what x is. And so when the statement is 4x equals 12, 4x means 4 times x. So to solve x, we need to divide both sides by 4. On the left, that simplifies. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so all that we have left is x. And on the right, we have 12 divided by 4, which is 3. And then we can check it. When we have 4 times 3 equals 12, we can verify it by doing 4 times 3, which is 12. So that's true. And then in the second problem, again, we want x by itself. So we're going to want to divide by -3 on both sides. And on the left, that will simplify to just x. And on the right, when we have a negative divided by a negative, it is now positive. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. And so let's check that then. -3 times 3 equals -9. -3 times 3 will be negative because the signs are different, and 3 times 3 is 9. So that's true. That is how we balance the equation. So now let's review. Let's find the product of each of the three of these here. When we take 2 times 1/2, it's the same as 2 over 1 times 1/2. And so we multiply straight across, which becomes 2 times 1 over 1 times 2. Anything times 1 is itself, so that's the same for the top and the bottom. And 2 divided by 2 is just 1. Okay, so let's do it with the next one here. Now it's 3/4 times 4/3, and we multiply straight across. So that becomes 3 times 4 over 4 times 3. We have 12 over 12, and 12 divided by 12 is 1. I hope you're starting to notice a pattern here. And the final one, we have 2/3 times 3/2. So again, multiply straight across. 2 times 3 over 3 times 2. So we have 6 over 6, which is 1. So for each case, my final answer was 1. So what do we notice? They all equal 1. The fractions a over b and b over a are called reciprocals. They're reciprocals. And I should be right there. So then how about this one? We want to find the value of x in the equation 1/4 times x equals 10. And I'm going to rewrite it right here. So earlier, we did the opposite, or the reciprocal, where we did, if it was 4 times x equals 12, we divided by 4. This time, we have 1/4 times x equals 10, so we're going to want to multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1 over 4, if it's a over b, is going to be b over a. So we're going to multiply by 4 over 1 to both sides. On the left side, 4 over 1 times 1 over 4 will become 4 over 4x equals 10 times 4 over 1. So on the left side, that will simplify to 1x, or x, and on the right, it will simplify to 40. And now let's check that. Let's check to make sure that's true by plugging in x for x back into the equation. So we have 1/4 times 40 equals 10. We can simplify this fraction to 40, and I'm going to keep it all on the left, over 4 equals 10. And 40 over 4 is 10, so that's true. That balanced the equation, x equals 40. So we can do it, and we can solve equations for x by using the reciprocal. So I'm rewriting it again. 5 over 3x equals 20. So we're going to want to multiply by the reciprocal to simplify, so we just have x on the left. So the reciprocal is going to be 3 over 5, and what we do to the left, we must also do to the right side. So these will simplify to 1 times x, and on the right, when we multiply straight across, it's going to be 20 times 3 divided by 5. So again, we just have x on the left side, 20 times 3, I'm going to do it over here, 20 times 3 is 60 divided by 5, and 60 divided by 5 is 12. So now let's check that. 5 times 3, or 5 over 3 times 12 equals 20. If this equation is balanced, on the left it'll simplify to 20. So when we multiply straight across, we're going to get 5 times 12, which is 60, divided by 3. And 60 divided by 3 is 20. So that's good. That means when x equals 12, this equation up here is balanced. Find the value of x in the equation. Negative 2/3 x equals 1/2. Again, I'm going to write it down here. Equals 1/2. So I'm going to do my inverse operation, or my reciprocal. I'm going to multiply both sides by a negative 3/2. We still have a negative sign because we want a positive value for x. So when we multiply a negative times a negative, now it will be positive, and these will simplify to just 1. So all that's left is x equals, and we're going to multiply by negative 3/2 to the left side. So we multiply straight across. So in the numerator, we're going to have negative 3 over, it's going to be 2 times 2, which is 4. So let's check that. Negative 2/3 times negative 3/4. And it should equal 1/2. Negative 2 times negative 3 is going to be a positive in the numerator. That's going to be a positive 6. In the numerator, it's 3 times 4, which is 12. And 6 over 12 simplifies. That does simplify to half. So this is a true statement. Off to the side, I'll show you how 6 over 12 equals 1/2. 6 over 12 can be rewritten as, let's see here, we can do 6 times 1 over, in the numerator, 12 has a common factor of 6, which is 6 times 2. And so now, my factor of 6 over 6 simplifies to 1, so that all that's left is 1/2. So there we see that 1/2 equals 1/2, and when we plug in this value for x, the equation again is balanced here. Alright, now we're going to solve equations using inverse operations. These are the same inverse operations. So first, what we are going to want to do to solve this is we're going to want to add 6 to both sides. When we add 6, these inverses are now simplified because these are opposites. So what we're left with is 1/3 x equals 3 plus 6, which is 9. Then we can take the inverse of 1/3, which is 3 over 1. These inverses simplify, so now all we're left with is x equals 9 over 1 times 3 over 1, which is the same thing as just 27. And if you want to check it, you can plug it back in to check. Alright, when we're doing inverse operations, I should make a reminder. We're going to isolate x, we're getting x by itself, and we want to do addition and subtraction first, because we're doing like the opposite of our order of operations. It's the inverse. So we're going to add 4 to both sides, because it's negative 4 plus half x equals 6. So now these simplify, so we're left with half x equals 10 when we add. My inverse of half is 2 over 1. So then these will simplify so that we have x equals 20. Because on the right, it's going to be 10 times 2 over 1, so we have 20 over 1, which is just 20. Alright, and one more here. What we do to the left side, we must do to the right. That's a reminder, and we're trying to get x by itself, so we need to take these inverse operations. So when we have 2x minus 5 equals 9, my first inverse operation is going to be to add 5 to both sides. We're going to do addition and subtraction first. So add 5. So then we have 2x, because those simplify, equals 9 plus 5 is 14. Then my inverse operation will be to divide by 2, or using a reciprocal, we can multiply by a half. So when we multiply by a half, these are inverses. All we're left with is x equals 14 times 1/2 would be the same as 14 divided by 2. And 14 divided by 2 is 7. Or you could see that 14 times 1/2 will be 14 over 2, which is also 7. So that's how you can use inverses to solve these equations. In example 6, it says Miss Case asked 3 students to find the value of n when 3n equals 21. Rihanna found the correct answer. What mistakes did her friends Lena and Forrest make? So if you notice, the inverse operation to solve would be to divide by 3, and Lena multiplied by 3, so that's why this is wrong. We should not be multiplying by 3. Forrest did divide by 3, or she took the reciprocal and multiplied by a third, but there is no longer a 3 here. So when she simplifies, then she has 1/3 times n, when now it should have already simplified to just n. So she should have found that n equals 7. And if we look, Rihanna did multiply by the reciprocal, and she had her 3 here. So those simplified to then n equals 7. So that's why Rihanna got it right, and Lena and Forrest did not. Okay, at this point, there's a few for you to try. So if you could complete those, that would be great. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you later. Bye.